As a mobile home flipper, I get asked all the time, what was my worst deal ever? So I'm going to share with you actually some pictures today. I'm going to screen share with you my worst deal ever. And this was back in 2019 when I first started flipping mobile homes in mobile home parks. And I was new to the game and didn't really know what I was doing. So I learned a lot from this deal, but I wanted to share with you some perspective of what I think I should have done differently and what I learned from it. So, if you're new to my channel, my name is Steph and I fix and flip mobile homes and trailer parks. And I've been doing this, like I said, since 2019. So, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell to be notified. I put out videos like this one every single day. So, you guys can learn this low budget house flipping alternative. So, I just teach people how to get started. I have a resource down below for you that is how to fix and flip mobile homes. So let's get into it. I personally, one of the things that I think that I have done right is I have learned how to get off market deals. So, meaning I connect with sellers directly and I get my deals off market and I create very large profit margins so that if something goes wrong, I actually don't lose money. So, one of my claim to fame is that I have never lost money on a deal. I've broken even, and this is my worst deal. My worst deal is I broke even. And like I said, I learned a lot, shit ton from this particular deal. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see some before and after pictures of this home. And like I said, this is back in 2019 and I really didn't know what I was doing. So, okay, let me get to the big screen mode here so you can see. Okay. So this is my not my first mobile home. This was actually my third deal. And I got this home for $5,000. I I should have here's what I should have walked away from this. This should not have been a deal that I did. I did not understand all that went into a mobile home flip, which is why I'm actually super passionate about educating people in this space, is to know like what to look out for, what to avoid, what to jump in on, what are things that you need to be aware of when you're purchasing a mobile home. So I have a lot of education for you and for my students who go through my course. But this particular home is one that I should have walked away. Okay. That was the main thing. When I walked into this home, I wish I had better pictures. At the time, I wasn't taking as many pictures as I do now, and videos and things like that. But at the time when I walked in, the entire roof, the ceiling, okay, the ceiling when I walked in was like I could tell it had water damage to it, the entire home. It wasn't like one little isolated spot where there's a tiny leak. No, it was the entire home. That was the first thing. I should have known that this was going to be a massive problem. Um, we had to deal with water intrusion. We had to deal with we replaced the siding. We had to tear out all of the ceiling. We had to rebuild the roof trusses. We had to, we had to put in new insulation, obviously a new roof. There was water intrusion in some of the walls. We had to redo some of the framing. We had to redo some of the subfloor. It was so much work and we didn't know what we were doing. So it was honestly, the fact that we broke even was honestly a miracle. It was only because I underestimated the amount of rehab that would be needed on this home. Also, I want to add too, I also I overestimated the amount that I was going to be able to sell this home for. So I'm gonna link a video down below for you that I think you should grab, that is, and watch it next, but it is how to calculate your numbers on a deal. it's really, really important that you get this number right when you're factoring your deals and before you make an offer and before you buy something so that you don't lose money and that you actually make money, because obviously that's the whole point. So you can see we redid the windows. We redid everything on this thing. Okay. Bought it for $5,000. I put in $40,000 into this home, and for a single wide, that's a lot. Okay. That's about double what I normally put into a single wide now. And yeah, so it was so much work. Here is a picture of the kitchen before on the left here. You can kind of see right here some of the water that I'm talking about on the ceiling. You can see some of that, but the entire thing was so bad. So obviously, so we redid it, and it looked so cute, and I was really proud of our after, but again, broke even on this deal. The person that bought it for, so I actually I listed it for $60,000 because I thought that was the going rate for this area or for this park. Also, I didn't know that I needed to calculate my after repair value based on every individual park, not based on the area that we were in. I was pulling my data from other parks that were nicer in the same area. So there we go. So I ended up reducing the price on this to $47,000. So yeah, this is another before picture. You can see let me just show you. Okay, so right here, you can see how we kind of this is where this stove was right here. This oven didn't even work. And they had over here, you can kind of see, hold on, I'm going to get another angle here. So it's right here. This is just another angle. So this is the wall mounted oven. They had put in, I think they cut away this countertop and put in this oven right here. And that just needed to be totally redone. So anyway, let me see. Let me go back. Yeah. So we put in the oven, we put it in right here. So we took all this out, put in the microwave right above that, kind of kept the refrigerator right in its original location. I don't know. We did something different because we added this little cabinet right here. Then we just moved the stove over. I'm sorry, the refrigerator over. And then, so here's another view. And then here's a view of the sink and the dishwasher we put in. And so instead of where that old stove and oven was right here, sorry, I'm just jumping back and forth. I'm sorry if that's distracting. We put in this little peninsula thing with a little breakfast bar. So it was super cute. And again, like I said, I was really proud of the after on this one because a single guy ended up buying it from me and was so ecstatic to be buying something for under $50,000 in my area. You couldn't buy down the street, a regular house was $450,000. So for him to buy something of his own that he owned was under 50,000 was, he was just so happy with that. So anyway, I wanted to share with you, this is my worst deal ever. And I've learned a lot. I learned a lot about contractors. I learned about coming up with my after repair value. I learned a lot about just saying no to a deal instead of going forward on something that I shouldn't have gone forward on. So anyway, I'm going to link those resources down below for you. So grab those and I will see you guys in the next video.